I can see attendees are joining us back, so we'll just wait for a minute more. Attendees are joining us back. Pranay, can I request you to mute yourself, please? Thank you all the attendees for joining us back. I hope you had a great time. So we'll have now a short video from EnerMAN Technologies.
Built, a SCADA or planned monitoring system was a matter of choice. Monitoring systems were seen as expense. Not anymore. Several gigawatts of PV plants are out there exposed to sun, and a sophisticated monitoring system can help you optimize the yield and reduce OPEX. Learning from this experience of over 2 gigawatt utility-scale PV plants, EnerMAN Technologies has built a PV plant monitoring solution that can help you increase plant performance. Solar PV plant is an asset, and EnerMAN offers cloud-based applications that will help you derive higher profits and lower carbon emissions. Monitor the data collected from various sensors in the PV plant with EnerSol. You can watch your plant generation and performance metrics in a snap. Get alerts and notification to prevent generation loss. EnerConnect helps you get data from multiple plants with different SCADA systems. Using this unified platform, you can slice and dice your data and get insights on plant performance. EnerMAN SkyDart app helps the field persons capture operations and maintenance data from the plant. You can configure reports on daily generation and manual activities like module cleaning, scheduled maintenance checklists. EnerSAM is the Renewable Operations Center on your fingertip. No need to set up a large monitoring room with multiple displays. Simply log in and get all the information about your solar PV plant asset on the go. EnerMAN offers complete solar PV asset monitoring, control, and management solutions. To know more, log into www.enerman.in.
Thank you for that short video. Now we have a presentation by Mr. Somashekar TH, who is an MD and CEO at EnerMAN Technologies. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
All right. So, thank you very much, and welcome to this session. A bit of introduction from my side. So I'm Somashekar. I co-founded this company along with Ashok DM, who's also a chairman and founder of Avi Solar Technologies. So let me take you through our company's presentation and then connect to the discussion which we are going to have with this eminent panelists. Let me just share my screen.
Sir, can you please make it full screen?
Yeah, sure.
I request all other speaker panelists to kindly mute themselves, please. Thank you.
All right. So let me just give a brief history of our company. So today, we had a lot of discussions, not today, since yesterday we've been having a lot of discussions on data analytics, cloud computing, IoT, and forecasting and whatnot. So for everything, the main foundation is data, coming in from the source, the plant, right? So what we found out, so EnerMAN was founded in May 2019, but prior to that, we had our entire team had a lot of experience in the field. So this company, Avi Solar, our parent company of EnerMAN, started in a very humble way with simple lighting solutions, and gradually we moved up the ladder. And in 2017, we were India's #1 O&M service provider. So in this process, we looked into the field aspects of a lot of power plants. And that is when we realized the biggest problem in the field out there is the data not being collected properly. There were SCADA system, PLC-based SCADA, but most of them were not functioning. And that is when we thought about this concept of digitalization or IoT way back in 2017 itself. And we thought this is the product we need to develop. And hence, we put a team together to build this product, an IoT-based SCADA. And in 2019, we released it to the outside market. So in 1 year, we have more than 850 megawatts in India, and currently we are going global. Okay. Now, before I tell you what exactly our product does, I just want to share a little bit of insights about what really is happening in our plants in India. So I specifically mentioned here, solar PV plants in India. All right. So this is the bitter truth. So I think we've got some great audience here. I feel you should be knowing it because Google doesn't really tell you about all this. Right. So I will show you some pictures, again, not downloaded from Google, but actually we have seen ourselves in the plants, some of the biggest plants. Look, the scene here. This is not a cyclone. It is just a monsoon, but the water is creeped into the plant and it is set to devastate all the things, right? Now, if that is the water issue, look what has happened here. The safety part of it, that the entire plant can get burnt by a simple mistake of not crimping the cables properly. Right, it can have devastating effects. As you know, our plants are in sunny locations, and a small spark can really be devastating. Safety has been compromised in most of the plants, right? And look at this, bad terminations, the way things have been terminated. So what we really attribute this is maybe the inexperienced technicians. They had stringent deadlines, poor workmanship. Everything is contributed for our greatest power plant to be built in this kind of an state, right? So look at this. These are some of the nightmares for our O&M teams. What you see here is, I don't know actually how clear is that in your video, but then all these rodents are creeping inside these combiner boxes. Well, the team has chosen the best combiner box. It's actually IP66 grade, right? But why is it coming in? Because they have not put the glands properly. So ultimately, it is not about the brand you buy. It is about how you install it, the kind of quality you have in your workmanship. Right. So next, why I'm talking about all this? Because all these things can happen inside a power plant. And the developer has put his money, imagining that this plant will run very neatly for next 25 years. But is everything visible by bare eyes? No, right? So this scenario, this is on a rooftop, and who will climb the rooftop? The panels are really, they are spilled away, right? So this is why you need a monitoring system in place. Maybe it could be in your headquarters or anywhere else where you can really look into what's happening at the plant. So these were the pain points we tried to resolve at EnerMAN. Most PV plants, when we were doing the O&M, they were not monitored remotely. They had a local MCR, master control room, but not all plants were monitored remotely. And even if it is monitored, they suffered heavy data losses. What I meant is, some inverters are communicating, some are not. So varied problems. And also, okay, this I'll just skip it because those times people really invested on the best of the SCADA, but later on they found out the AMC charges are so high they couldn't afford this SCADA from global players, right? So legacy SCADA. Then they needed customization. Lot of regulatory changes came in, and the SCADA had to be customized. And just large players, they couldn't actually do that for their customers. So these were some of the points we tried to address. And the last one is we try to give a single login for all the users. What I mean is, as the developers from outside, they came in, they tried to purchase all these varied portfolios, and each one had different SCADA. So they wanted a single window. So this is another problem which we try to address, right? Now, what does the solution offer from EnerMAN? Number one, we actually started to do only the software part, because most of us, we are from IT background. We thought we will do a lot of analytics, but then we realized the biggest problem in the solar plants in India was the last mile. The data itself wasn't coming from the plant to the cloud, or actually to the server. That's when we started focusing on the hardware as well. So EnerMAN offers end-to-end solution. So we have our own hardware, which is also a very low cost one for Indian market. And if you want to go for a global space, we can integrate our firmware into that hardware as well. So it's actually an open platform, we could call it as. However, our IoT controller hardware is compliant, or actually works with all sorts of PV equipments. The main product is, we call it as ETSOL. It's an IoT platform. It's a centralized remote monitoring and control system. It works with really low bandwidth. That was one of the challenges we saw with the existing SCADA. They needed high speed, or actually lease line connections, but we said a simple Geo SIM card is good enough. So that's how our system works. And we can retrieve data from any third-party SCADA. There are also some other engines we have developed. One is actually analytics, and we also have some tools which helps the O&M staff to digitize their plant, or actually to collect the manual information. So we have apps also associated with this. Right. So this is a typical architecture. I will not actually talk much about it. Simply saying, it is a very simple system which can interface with all sorts of equipments, and it will push the data to the cloud. And once it gets to the cloud, I think we're going to talk a lot about that later in the discussion today. All right. So then, till now, how much are we monitoring? Yes, we have integrated our data loggers to all tier 1 equipment providers, all the inverters, energy meters, combiner boxes, weather stations. I think you can see them, everything in here. So we are proud that actually we have integrated with each one of this, and it's just plug and play, because we have the data of this equipment. You have to just connect our device, connect to internet, and you can get the data onto the cloud. Right. And location wise, we have covered whole of India. We have a service center at Madhya Pradesh as well. Recently we had installations in Sri Lanka, and the largest plant, it is basically a retrofit. We have introduced a control function to the plant. It's a 350 megawatt plant, and we have also done projects for rooftop. All right. Okay, now just to give you a very rough idea, won't take much time. How does the product look like, and what is that we have really focused on? Okay, now what we realized is the information about the plant is not just needed for the O&M managers. It is needed at your headquarters, wherein the management team is sitting there. So our main dashboard, we call it as HQ dashboard, gives you a glimpse of your plant. I just covered the names here. So glimpse of the plant at a high level. If everything is green, I think you need not worry. Else actually, there are some issues going on. So you can always ask your O&M head to, make all the tabs green here. So it's as simple as that, and it shows the basic generation data. This, of course, is customizable the way you want the contents to be seen here. So this is the portfolio at a glance. Then we have, once you get inside a specific plant, again, you can look into all the KPIs. We call it as a plant overview page. The key parameters, as you all know, it is PR and AC power, customizable cards. So we will customize the way you want it. Okay. Then one of the concern as we were developing this product came from a lot of users who were from the PLC domain. They are very conversant with the single line diagrams. So hence we had to incorporate these features. So this is mainly for the engineers at site, and he gets notification as he watches the SLD whether the inverter is down or actually any parameters are going off the limits. So this is the SLD page. One of the biggest requirement we saw from the plant owners in India is they need to get the notification very fast. They might not be too worried today's generation, is it down by 5% or 10%, but they are more worried on, is my inverter up or down, or actually my string combiner box is, I know some strings have been disconnected. So that is where actually we focus on this alert, alarms and notifications. We have color coded it, we have geotagged. So meaning here, a technician looking at this map, he know exactly which SCB he needs to go and attend. And also each alert is logged, and we have a mini ticketing system here. Another aid for our O&M teams. As you know, typically in a solar PV plant, the OMS team collects all the data, notes down the inverter reading and puts it in an Excel, sends it as a daily generation report or DGR, right? So we try to automate the entire thing. So at the end of the day, or actually night by 9 p.m., everyone, or actually whoever is in subscribed, they will receive the DGRs in their box. And this can be the format which you need. So these are the kind of automation or digitization, the things which have been talking since yesterday in this forum, we incorporated into the tool. And this is our bit of contributing to the digitization of solar power plants. All right. So similarly, the next big thing which we are working on, I would say, I'll be very honest here, it's not that something we are out there, we can give predictive analytics, we can do an extensive loss analysis. I'm not claiming that, but then we have done a substantial job here. If the data is clean, the loss analysis is is perfect. So we have worked on a lot of algorithms which can help you, give you ranking and rating of this lot of inverters, so that the OMS teams can go and focus on those particular equipments. So these are the key features. Now the question, I think, is, are your solar PV plants future ready? What I really mean here is we are switching to an IoT revolution, right? So that is the big thing. It is not that you have a system in place, then actually you give a static IP and get the data. I think those are things of the past. It's time you really make it an IoT compliant. So meaning the data should simply come out there. And as you know, IoT is basically a marriage between physical and the virtual worlds, right? So you need to make that possible. Now, what is the main component here for the IoT? So let me just finish this formal presentation, but now I'm going to touch upon the topics for the panel discussion here. Since EnerMAN's main goal, just to sum up our company presentation, EnerMAN's main goal is to digitize the solar PV industry. So we are more into solar, not into wind yet. And what we are telling to our prospects, our customer, is that actually please move to IoT. There's a big reluctance that they still feel, I want to monitor in the MCR. I think you need to make your plant ready for IoT. That doesn't definitely cost much. It is very cost effective, but you need to move there. If you go into IoT, then where is your data stored, right? So that is actually the...
I think we lost his connectivity.